CARM HARM form herded man here. Alright, well, last left off was quite some time ago, so you've probably completely forgotten all the things that I said before, but that's okay, there's a playlist, so you can go and click on that and watch the other ones. Anyways, I'm reading from the CARM website under an examination of atheism written by Robin, and we're gonna see what good old Batman's sidekick has to say, the next part of it that I haven't yet read, and here we go. Okay, science and the existence of God. Okay, so I'm going to read each paragraph, then I'm going to stop and complain about it. Some atheists recognize the gravity of this situation, and therefore, when pressed for evidence, they take a stand that can be boiled down to, quote, science has disproven God, end quote. However, there are several reasons that show this claim to be both enormously brittle and not well thought out. But first, to understand the rationale behind the position, a little history is necessary. No, I'm not aware of any atheist that has ever said science has disproven God. However, plenty have said that science hasn't proven God, which would be the thing that it would need to do. See, we don't have a positive proof, so we don't have anything to go on. So another freaking straw man here. People don't say this. Where has this been said? At least give some examples. At least then I could be like, okay, well, yeah, okay, there's a few people that have said that. You know, I'd still say it's a straw man, but at least he'd have some examples of somebody doing it. But why? Why do this? Why lie? Because that's what this is. It's not a truth thing. Why? Well, because it's easier than attacking the position science hasn't proven God, isn't it? And well, it just doesn't matter. So what if science hasn't proven God? But that would fit better with theology, wouldn't it? I mean, you know, God's beyond the natural realm, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Okay, next paragraph. Here we go. After the events of 9/11, a branch of atheism, militant atheism, sometimes referred to as hateism, aggressively rose up and demanded that society must get rid of all of religion. Rather than focusing on religious extremists who use religion to justify violent and murderous actions, the militant atheists lumped all peoples of faith into the same basic bucket and labeled religion as a whole dangerous. What? Wait, what? How? What? Okay, how does that... I guess you're trying to refer to the so-called new atheists, Hitchens and Dawkins and Sam and so on and so forth, who came out of the woodwork, as it was, and made their presence known on the center stage of the world, so to speak. And many of them did say, yeah, that this was in response to 9/11, that, you know, we've been silent too long. We've got to say something. We've got to take a stand. We've got to say no to religion. And we need to be out there and be public with our atheism, and we need to not hide it anymore. And I think that that was the correct response. It could have happened earlier, but this was an event that showed the atheists that were prominent that they needed to speak up and make atheism something into the mainstream. And you can complain all you want that your religion's being clumped together with everything else, but your religion has been in the past just as bad as Islam is being today. So, the only difference is you reformed. They haven't yet. They're working on it, but it's a slow process. And instead of attacking the arguments being made, you're just whining and complaining that you're all being grouped together. But religion does and can poison everything, as Hitchens put it. It's very difficult to find a benign religion. And if you do, then it's one whose ideology is about really being meek and peaceful, not just giving lip service to that. The problem I see is that things like the Bible haven't yet been changed to get rid of all the nasty bits in there that says dash heads against the stones and things like this, because somebody somewhere could take that and say it says it's okay to do this. If that was gone and not in that book anymore, then that would be different, but it still is. So you're still part of the problem, not part of the solution. And until you get on board, then yeah, I'm going to group you with the rest of them. It's not like a zillion Christians came out and said, we've got to do something against Islam. But the question facing the militant atheists was, how will we get rid of religion? The apparent agreement, or perhaps you could say conspiracy, was to use science as a bedrock and tool to replace the need for religion. This tactic is nothing new, and was the same position put forward by Thomas Huxley in 1800s when he sought to install scientists as the new priest for humankind. This faith in science is not science at all, but scientism. Scientism, which says it's science, and science alone is the singular way to discover truth. Well, that escalated quickly, didn't it? But that really didn't. I mean, it doesn't really follow. I mean, I guess. Okay, so science and the existence of God. That's the name of this section, right? And then you say, atheists wanted to say that science disproved God, and they wanted to use science to do it, but that's atheists using science to try to disprove God. Like, that would be the heading, right? It wouldn't, like, you would think that if you were gonna read something that said under science and the existence of God, that it would say something about, I don't know, science and then the existence of God, like, here's how science points to God, supposedly, blah, and fine-tuning, yada, 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 things we've read and heard a bazillion times, right? But no, this is like, oh, the atheists, they're trying to say science has replaced God, or science disproves God, even though that's not really what they said. By the way, we're going to complain that they are lumping us together with everyone else because we gotta have our persecution complex in there fed a little bit. And then we're going to go off on this other thing that's the history of militant atheism, or anti-theism, or hate theism, let's just call it that, whatever, and go off the rails. Alright, so that's plus 3 logical fallacies to the fallacy counter that wasn't in this episode. There it is. Okay, there, it's decided to show up at the end. Okay, we'll get that working next time. By we, I mean I'll get it working next time. And then I'll do more stuff, and we'll do the problems with scientism. I keep saying will when it's me doing all the work. You're just listening and watching this and commenting and sharing and liking it and thumbing it up and all that stuff, which is great. That takes energy and time, and I appreciate you doing that. So we'll do this again next time. Very soon will be the next episode of this. Not like you won't have to wait like a month or something. It will be very quick between this and the next one, possibly tomorrow. I won't guarantee it. I'm gonna end the video now because that's the end of this video.